All right, greetings, dear Virgo. This one is for you. We'll just get warmed up a little bit here. Cards are being shuffled to the last second so that you're a witness, but they were already pre-shuffled. No jumpers, no flyers, no reversals, but we are going to have an oracle at the end. Ha 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 ha. Yes. Also, I'm going to do a little bit of an overview of the astrodoodles for the month because it's a very big deal month for the whole year, if not the most significant for the whole year. It's because of the eclipses. And on top of that, the eclipses are heavily aspected by a lot of planets piling up on the axis itself. I'll show you in a moment. I'm just going to put this on here for anyone who's actually interested. These are just my personal notes. I use them in personal readings and so on. It's just key dates for the month. I'll just spill it through here. I'm going to focus on the yellow stuff, which is the eclipses, okay? You can watch this in the action replays later if you want to. I'm also going to mention all those 5 planets in retrograde. That's heavy duty. That's a lot of opportunity for us to do a lot of cleanup campaign, remodeling, reconfiguring, repurposing, redoing, reconvening, reconciling, rejoicing. Sometimes the retrogrades work very well for some people. So anyway, let's have a look, Virgo. This is kind of serious for you. I'll show you why. Look. Okay, there's your typical astrodoodle for Tarot Lumination, just a bunch of squiggles and things. And here's you, Virgo, put you on the horizon over here. And this would be your 7th house of opposition over here. They call it the house of marriage or the house of open enemies. There's nowhere to hide over here. And over here, so you notice we have Neptune sitting right in the middle there, retrograde. Over here, look at this. This is the 5th house of true love, romance, also creativity, self-expression, business, risk-taking, being happy, having fun. Okay? And look what's happening here. Okay? So there's a lot of pressure on love and relationship, like directly. Okay? So first of all, this has been around for a long time, and it's going to be here for years to come. It's growing, moving very slowly. Neptune just flipped into a retrograde here, and it's in Pisces, so you might be dealing with an awful lot of things that are incomprehensible in love and relationship, especially a formalized relationship, a business contract with someone, or a marriage, or a formal, like we're living together formally type of whatever it is, like a formal agreement of relationship. And so with the Neptune energy, there's a tendency to like idealize everything, and like this could be like divinely inspired, brought to us from heaven, and at the same time like there's the potential for disappointment, loss, confusion, misunderstanding, betrayal, suffering, because of the lack of ideal, because it's sometimes very hard to maintain an ideal, and anything less than the ideal can become painful if it's not understood or handled or managed or properly. And over here, so that's happening, okay? And that's not going to go away anytime soon. Over here in your 5th house, we've got Pluto and Saturn still here. Pluto's been there for years, and it's got a few more years to go. Saturn's here. This is like the serious reality check police. The beauty of this is if you're managing this energy really well in loving relationship, in love, then you can be, let's say, tested and bulldozed and ground through this whole phenomenon, but in a very slow, safe, secure way where it can actually work for you. In other words, pretty much anything and everything that does not work, that's obsolete and redundant, is going to get ground away. The reality check police are here, and they're going to make sure that's what happens. Okay, so that's going to be, you'll feel that more perhaps towards the eclipse at the end of the month, middle of the end. Early on, we have the new moon eclipse over here. Okay, over in Cancer, your 11th house. Let's keep moving. I just want to mention something about the eclipses. Hold on. Before we even get to the cards, just give me a second. I'm going to check in with you personally. Hello. Hold on. Stay there. Stay there, Virgo. All right. Hi, Virgo. So the eclipses are really, really important in terms of our evolutionary growth. I think of them as evolutionary gateways. So you're living your life over here. The eclipse comes along. It's like getting into an elevator through a door, and then the elevator goes up. taking you up to the next evolutionary stage in your life. And then the other door opens at the top, and it's not the same door. It's one of those two-sided elevators, and you have to go out here. So in other words, your life is here, and then the eclipses happen, and then it's here, and it's happening. It's pressure. There's no way out of it. So the only way out is through. So you have to live through it, and sometimes it can be very uncomfortable. The eclipses force change. It feels like they force change on us. So that's going to happen with you on that 5th and 11th house axis with true love, and also and that's going to affect most likely like the 7th house aspect of relationship. Okay, so that's something to consider. All right, I just thought I would mention it. All right, let's get back. Also, by the way, the eclipses are like really amplified because there's so many planets sitting there. Like on the full moon eclipse, you got Pluto, Saturn, the moon, Pluto, Saturn, moon. And on the new moon, you've got sun, moon, I think, what is it, Mercury, and anyways, a whole bunch of planets right there. Okay, let's go back. All right, let's get on with it. I should have said that in detail a bit more. Well, let me just check to be sure. Yeah, sun, moon, and Venus is just entering there too, and Mars is just leaving. Anyway, it's a lot of energy piled up, okay, on top of the eclipses. So here we go. We're going to use the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread. You've probably seen it before. If not, you'll have to figure it out as you go along. It's on the understanding that there's you, Virgo, a significant other who's the co-star of the reading, and the relationship itself, which is a third entity which has a life of its own. That's how we do it here at Tarot Lumination with the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread. And that's just how it is. So get comfortable. Do what you have to do. Invite your invisible friends. Surround yourself with your angels. And like bless the situation. Okay? Let's make the most of it here. That's what Tarot Lumination does. Okay? Also watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if each one is different. If you don't know what that is, ask someone, or you can write in to the channel and I'll help you figure it out. Okay? All right, here we go. So this would be you and your energy. Think of yourself like a smartphone on voice mode. What are you transmitting and receiving? You're constantly transmitting and receiving energy in love and relationship as well as the rest of your life. That would be you and day to day. Over here, what about the other? Now, this is not a couples reading. It's all about you, and this is your co-star. Over here, deep inside of you, deep inside of the other, and at the core, the relationship itself. So can you see this? This is the crucible. A crucible is a bowl-type structure that's designed to withstand intense pressures of alchemical reactions. It's just like in human relationships. Think of it as a potted plant. You guys own this, whether you like it or know it or not. So what are you growing here? What is being fostered? Okay, what is blossoming here in this potted plant? Is it fractured? Is it flexible? Is it solid? Is it real? And now we're going to look at circumstantial energy, environmental influences. I call it the weather. It's surrounding you. Okay, so we have Queen of Pentacles. So my feeling is that this is a really good chance. Okay, there's a reason why this is kind of sweet. It's because, oh, excuse me, hold on, I dropped everything. Excuse me, all these reports. So, you know, as scary as it sounded the way I was talking about this, and scary as this, the Capricorn energy and the Cancer energy is actually very harmonious for you. This would be called a trine. This would be called a sextile. This is an opposition. We can learn tremendous amount through opposition. It's one of the most powerful aspects. It can be one of the most challenging, but if you can handle it, it can be also the most rewarding. So there's a lot at stake here for you, Virgo, in love and relationship, okay? Luckily, this is very harmonious energy for you. Still challenging, but the Capricorn and Cancer energies are typically very satisfying and, let's say, supportive. So that's what I'm sensing here with the Queen of Pentacles. I think heaven and angels and planets want you to know that you are supported. There's a lot of evidence out there that at least in some way, shape, or form, you're on track. Okay, you have, let's say, what I think of as self-worth. and value that needs to be acknowledged, recognized, understood by you yourself. Sometimes Virgos, you can be very down on yourself. You can be very self-deprecating, like just putting yourself over in a corner, not wanting to get too noticed or anything, just because you're so concerned about like the practicalities of life and getting on with things. And sometimes uh, the frivolous aspects of life are just an annoyance for you, and you would rather be just. It's a very humble energy, that Virgo energy, and you have to Virgos, you need to understand how valuable you are, how valuable that energy is, how valuable you are to others, and you will also discover how valuable certain people are to you. I feel this is very, very specific. As you know, Virgo, you can be very discriminating, and I don't think there's a problem with that. In fact, I think it's better to get even more discriminating, become more aware and more conscious of the value and the values of the people in your life, the really, really significant ones, the ones I pointed out in that fifth house and that seventh house, okay? Here and here, all right? So what's the situation? What are you radiating here? Okay, Ace of Swords. Okay, the card of sacred opportunity from my perspective. I think that it's like what's happening through July is kind of like almost like rolling thunder, rolling lightning. You know, when you have those big storms, I don't know what country you live in, but sometimes you can have these huge, huge rumbling storms that sort of rumble through very slowly, and they're really, really thunderous, and they're full of sheet lightning. Sometimes you can't see the lightning bolts; you just see the clouds kind of go. And I think that's kind of what's happening with you, Virgo, is that you're going through this kind of storm, this beautiful, beautiful storm, like almost like an electric storm, where a lot of things are getting lit up and exposed, and you get to see things how they are that you would never normally see without these kind of very intense storm-like events. You could think of the eclipses as storm-like events that are amplified because of the planets sitting on top of the eclipses. And all that is happening uh, on the stage of relationship dynamics where Neptune is out there, where anything and everything can happen. What's real? What's not real? And it's time to find out. You're going to find out. I think there will be moments of spontaneous awakening, spontaneous clarity that are much overdue and much welcomed. What about the other? Okay, well, to me, it feels like they're totally off on their own planet. Okay, I mean, sort of obvious, really. And they're trying to figure out, well, what the bleep am I supposed to do in this situation? Like, how does this affect me? How does Virgo affect me? How does my relationship with Virgo affect me? How am I supposed to deal with my own version of the Tarot Lumination report for whatever sign I am, sun, moon, and rising? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. What is this? What are the implications? Because there's obviously a lot at stake here, okay? And I don't think they know. They might have some ideas like wishes and some dreams, aspirations, but I think there's a lot going on here that they don't really know because they're going through so many shifts and changes themselves that um, it's almost like they can't make the really important moves yet. They're still pondering the moves. Well, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do in this situation with you, Virgo? Okay. Ever thought about that? What about me? You know, maybe this one represents the Neptunian energy of like, oh, maybe this, maybe that. What's real, what's not real. I want to do this. Well, maybe I should do that. I've already set this plan in motion, but I'm thinking of changing to this. Okay. Uh, Also, with the same, it's almost the same story with the fifth house, but I think this would be much more solid and realistic. It would be the energy of like, okay, we're on to something. We've started something. We have something here. So what are we going to do now? Okay. So there might be some pressure there on you, Virgo. What about deep inside of you? Okay. Good. I'm happy to see this. The Knight of Pentacles here. To me, it feels like your only intention is good. And it's evidence of love. I'm not, it's like a love and relationship report, but I'm trying to go big and wide with it to cover kind of your life as well. So when I see the Knight of Pentacles here, my feeling is that you are absolutely committed and determined uh, to continue and advance and proceed with only the best of intentions, and being willing to, let's just say, be very, very mature in the process of, not sweating the small stuff of whatever's not working in love relationship, like the really complicated things of illusion and delusion and disappointment and whatever challenges are happening in the romantic side. And then being a classic Virgo, being very, very practical and down to earth about it, just like a really, really responsible farmer who's, you know, got a lot to take care of. And the way they do it is by being very, very methodical. And they deliberately understand that they have to walk into the, it's like they have to view everything from the most optimal perspective, just like a farmer would do. Like, what are we going to do with this, and this, and this, and this asset? Okay, this piece of ground, this piece of seed, this many seeds, this degree of weather, all those things. And you, Virgo, you're making it your business to make the very, very best of it. And it's coming from a very deep, profound, loving intention to optimize like the value of the relationship, and it's very measurable. Okay, Virgo, you're very earthy, and so everything is very tangible, understandable on an earthly level. So I see this as evidence of love being expressed and brought into your whole life in your whole world, including relationship, in ways that are beneficial to the relationship, to the other party or parties, and to yourself. Okay, so this is dedication and what I see as devotion. Love is as love does, okay? What are the most loving actions that you can take? And that means walking away and leaving behind any fractious or combative or toxic actions that you could take. No, instead, you are doing the most loving thing you can. What about the other? Okay, my feeling is that they're, in their own way, they're struggling to handle what's happening with them, because they're going through huge, profound changes themselves, whoever they are, and they might not like what's happening to them because it's like it's probably like a very lonely experience. Like when we're in love and relationships and things like that, and we have a particular loved one or a mate or a partner, whether it's really divine and beautiful or whether it's like mediocre or whether it's really toxic, either way, it's a relationship. And sometimes relationships, even the most, divinely ordained relationships, are going to go through very challenging periods. And I think that's what's happening to them over here. And they're struggling to figure out, who am I? What am I supposed to do in this relationship with my Virgo person over here? And they don't have any answers except to go deep within. They are going to have to find the answers from deep within. There's nothing wrong about that. It's actually a very, very courageous thing to do. And it's something that all of us all have to do in our lives at some point, because ultimately, like all the answers come from within, all your happiness, all your joy comes from it within, and that has to be understood. And so it might be getting understood in an empirical way, like in a science experiment, through their relationship with you. As you go through your profound awakenings and lightning bolt moments and your big rolling thunder moments, and you're coming through very, very solid and strong with the most loving intentions, they are, in their own way, I feel it's like they're struggling with it because they might not have your solidity. They might not have your sense of what does work and what does not work. They might uh, have a lot of internal issues that they have not resolved that need a lot of reconciling. Remember, we've got 5 planets retrograde now through July, most of July. And so that's putting everybody on notice. Like, we all have a lot of work to do on reconfiguring, remodeling, repurposing ourselves from the soul upwards. Okay, when you think about it, Neptune and Pluto, and whatever, Jupiter and Saturn, and also Mercury there. I mean, it's just like, it's overwhelming. So my feeling is that they're having a bit of a hard time of it, not knowing what to do or how to do it. And there's nothing bad. It's just that to me, it feels like it's very, very challenging for them. I don't think they're complaining outwardly. I don't think that they are blaming or pointing fingers, or uh, trying to be hurtful or harmful in any way. I just think this is what happens in the pressure of relationship. Okay, and you, Virgo, are under a lot of pressure when it comes to love and relationship. And so whoever this is on this side is subject to your vortex of energy. Okay, let's have a look at the core here. Okay. Wow, this is exciting. Wow, I'm totally caught off guard by that. So when I see these together here, the wands and the wands here, in the context of this, I think what's happening is that in a very deep, profound, solid, kind of earthy kind of way, that you don't have to talk about like, oh, look what's happening, it's so exciting, can you be with me, what's happening? Guess what? I just watched a Tarot Lumination video and it said this and it said that and a little about my relationship. It's not like that at all. To me, this is a very somber, very, very sober, very sobering kind of reading for the month for you, Virgo, where it would be like, it's almost like your energy would be like, I knew it. I knew this moment would come. This is profound. This is absolutely profound. And over here, it's almost the same thing, like, but in a different tone, like, oh my God, I knew this moment would come. Whoa, this is scary, profound. It's an amazing opportunity, but it's also really scary. And it's showing in our relationship. And then you would say, Virgo, yes, I'm glad you noticed, my dear one. It is challenging. Okay? I'm realizing that now. But that's a huge opportunity. Okay? Huge opportunity to grow. Remember, this is not a couples reading, Virgo. It's all about you, but this is your kind of co-star here. So I think what's happening is at a very deep, deep, profound soul level, you're very, very quietly going like this. Wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is a huge opportunity for me. Our relationship, my relationship, their relationship with me. This is actually like a big turn on. But it's a very, very subtle one. It's very, very deep in the soul. Very, very, very deep in the soul. That's what I'm sensing. Okay? And so what do you do with that? It's almost like having discovered this beautiful plant that you have. And instead of like saying, hey, everybody, look at me, look what I've got, look what we have, it's just like you keep it very personal and quiet to yourself. Like, we own this beautiful thing. It's very profound. We have tremendous opportunities to grow and expand here. It is going to be tough. Okay, we're going to have to make a lot of decisions. But the opportunity is there for growth. Look at the eclipses. Okay, go rewind to the eclipses and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, what about fostering over here? And again, to me, this looks like a very, very private whisper to yourself, like, I told you so. I knew it. I knew this would come. I knew this would happen. And it's being shown to you through the relationship, through love and relationship. So it's like you're seeing these new opportunities, the eclipses. I think these relate very, very closely to the eclipses here. New opportunities, new changes, irrevocable changes, no going back. And new layers of truth being exposed that need to be exposed, as opposed to optical illusions. Okay, so I'm feeling like the Page of Swords here is like revelations of truth. Okay, that are going to be exposed in the relationship. Okay, because Neptune is retrograde here. It's going to give a chance to go deep, go deep, go deep, like we're doing, and then the truth that you need to know about yourself and that they need to know about themselves will become evident through like this living thing, the relationship. So they will discover what they need to know, and you discover what you need to know. Dear heaven, dear angels, dear guardians from beyond, please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Okay? And so it is spoken, and so it is done. And it becomes a beautiful thing. I feel it's very profound, it's very earthy, it's very solid, and it's a long time coming. And now it's here. Okay? And you'll have to reinterpret that for yourself. Okay, Virgo? I hope you can. You know what? Let's just go straight to the oracle now. Guess what? I'm going to use the Romance Angels deck. Think of this as the little after mint at the end of your dinner at an Indian restaurant. Okay? So you'll just have to trust the process. All right, Virgo, I'm just going to pull a card for you, and then we're going to read and give a little interpretation, okay? So I really hope this reading makes sense for you, Virgo, and you get something out of it. Don't forget to watch for your sun, moon, and rising. And you can even cross-watch as well for significant others, okay? Same thing, bless this deck. Invite your invisible friends. Make sure they're still here, okay? Here's your card. That was a full cut. Okay, let's have a look. Healing family issues, okay? Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. Whoa. Whoa, I didn't see that one coming. Let's have a look here. Let's read from the book. All right, let's see what it says here. All right, for you, dear Virgo. Actually, I gotta tell you something. Hold on, let me just do this. Hold on, stay there. Hi, Virgos. I used to do a lot of astrology reports and things for people, but it's very exhausting for me, and I didn't have a lot of fun, so I stopped doing it. But what I noticed sometimes when I do clusters and families and things like that, you can really see the soul connections between the different people. It's mind-boggling. And you can see how some people are born to reconcile with each other and to heal old wounds or to learn and teach another one, and so on and so on. It's an amazing thing to witness. Okay, let's go back. Hold on. All right, so there we are. I just wanted to add that. The answers to your prayers about your love life are based in your feelings about your mother and father. The romance angels see that you would benefit from releasing old anger toward one or both of them. That's because your feelings about your parents influence your choice of romantic partner and the way in which you deal with relationships. Wow, it's so true. You can ask the angels to help you put forgiveness into action. To forgive someone, okay, hold on, give me a second. To forgive someone does not mean that you are endorsing his or her behavior. The angels will tell you, rather, that doing so is a form of deep emotional detoxification. That's what forgiveness is. Again, forgiveness is basically blessing them, forgiving them because of the harm, whatever they might have done to you. It might have been very deep and subtle. It might have been really mean and ugly. It might have been completely deliberate. It might have been completely unconscious with no harm intended, and yet harm does occur. Sometimes, we love our parents, or sometimes we don't. Sometimes things become very abusive and ugly and nasty. Sometimes they're very beautiful and profound. But there's usually something that needs forgiving. as we mature and grow. Okay? The angels will tell you rather that forgiving and doing this is a form of deep emotional detoxification. It means I am no longer willing to carry toxic energy within my mind and body. It's basically like saying, I forgive you. I know you hurt me. I know we have problems. I know I harbor ill will. I know you have uh, struggled being a parent with me, and so on and so on. And I forgive you. I just forgive you. It doesn't mean I'm saying that everything that you did that was harmful is okay. It's not. Okay? I hope that makes sense. So when you find inner peace with your parents, you will no longer need to attract unhealthy relationship patterns and partners as a way of healing family emotional wounds. All of your relationships, especially the one you have with yourself, will benefit. So it's like in some ways, like all of us, we have to outgrow our parents. We have to become our own entities, our own living things, okay? And sometimes we are deeply, deeply bound, okay? Some families are so deeply entwined, they don't know that they can actually encumber each other. Some families work in ways where the parents deliberately foster the independence and growth of the child so that the child can be functional without the parent. And that's one of the biggest gifts that you can give a child. So every family dynamic is different. Sometimes there's a mixture of all those things. But anyway, the card is doing a little bit of talking. I hope that adds a bit of value to the reading for you. All right. So I'll just put that over here. Bless you, Virgo. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure to read for you. Hopefully, we'll see you again next month. All the best. I'm just going to check out. Hold on. All right, there we go. Did I explain about the eclipses? Yeah, how we come in like one part of our life, okay? We're just cruising along, and then the eclipses happen. We're in that elevator. Uh-oh, we're being taken up. And then you reach the full moon eclipse, and then the doors open, and you are released. This is the emotional gateway. This is the spiritual evolutionary gateway, excuse me. And there's no going back. So, Virgo, this is a tremendous opportunity for you to evolve and grow, especially by going deep, deep, deep within, reconciling any very, very, very deeply buried, uncomfortable aspects to do with parents, perhaps. We have to allow for that because that will affect. I know because of the readings that I've done, I know how our relationship with our parents impacts our future relationships with spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, and so on. Okay? Thank you very much, Virgo. See you again. Bye-bye. Bye.